Let's talk.
Giles Brown.
Truckit. No, I said Truckit. Truckit is the driver around the world that saved my... I know it's Friday, and I'm definitely in that sort of mood, but I'm delighted to say, having had a quick phone call with him because I just absolutely trucked it this morning by not going into the right meeting. So there we go. Bobby Bolton. Bobby, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, well, now that I've actually managed to hit the right button and found you, Bobby.
Technical issues.
That was what that...
I don't think there's ever been a Zoom call in history that's not started with, can you hear me? Can you see me? There's just this kind of like...
I'm sitting in the room, so am I. Okay, that room, okay. I mean, honestly, things that make our lives... No wonder you got in a truck and went around the world, Bobby. Whereabouts are you, by the way, mate?
Pretty much. Just outside of Wigan, back in the UK.
Right, super.
And it is freezing. It is absolutely freezing. From spending 2 years driving around the world in hot and sweaty desert jungle, then to be back home is a bit of a culture shock as well. So
yeah, but you see, when you're sitting there in the wilds of whatever, and there's a poisonous spider underneath your seat, you think, no, I'm not missing Wigan, honestly. But I wonder how they're doing against Castleford, but apart from that, we're okay. Yeah.
But I am just happy to be home, like, for mummy's cooking,
right.
Like, I'm just a bit of a sucker for it. We've eaten so much amazing food and some terrible food. So to just have mum bring me a coffee and a bit of toast, I'm 33 years old, I don't normally do this, but after a couple of years, it's just nice to be a bit pampered for only a couple of weeks.
Can I just say, you had me on the front cover of the book, which I'm looking at now, because I presume those are the Himalayas behind you or some impressive mountain range.
Yes, we're actually in Tibet there.
Wow.
So just outside the capital of Tibet, and I was just driving around the road, stopped in the middle of nowhere, no one around, and then snapped that photo, and it's epic.
Yeah.
There was no setup for it. And a lot of the stuff we do, there's no plan to it. We just kind of, let's go up there, let's do this. And sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes the mountain track collapses and we almost tumble down a mountain like we did in Italy. It's it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun.
And also the truck itself, because I'm a bit of I'm a bit of a truck fan. So there's this truck later and the large hound as well. So you can't beat that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So me and my dog set off to Australia. That's what it was all about.
Right.
And I just wanted to restart my life. And basically the story sort of starts is I just needed to restart my life. I was in a bit of a bad spot.
Yeah.
And I just came up with this idea in a pub.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing, because let's get all deep and meaningless on a Friday morning. But the thing is, right, it's like everything had gone to you got to truck it, business, relationship, and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of people could have just stayed in the pub in Wigan for the next sort of 3 or 4 years until you fell over or into rehab or something. But what came into your brain? Ka-ching, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a large truck and I'm going to go around the world. What was the spark there, Bobby?
I don't really know where it came from, if I'm being honest, but my life, without getting too much into it, basically my life had fallen apart. I was broke.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough money to rent anywhere when the relationship broke up. So she let me enough money to buy this old moldy caravan. It was on a farm, no running water, no electricity. A portaloo was what it was. So I was just in a bit of a lost period in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember my mum saying don't worry, come home. We'll get you a job with a local builder, And I was like, no, that is complete failure for me. And outside a pub, after a couple of pints, there was this Land Rover pulled up, and out of this Land Rover pulled out, there was a wild looking couple, shaggy beard, big hair. They looked a bit tired and dirty, but wild. And I was like, that's it. I need an adventure to restart my life. I need to get my mojo back. And the idea was to drive to Mongolia, which lasted about an hour and about 4 pints until I decided just out the spur of the moment, it's not far enough. I'm going to drive to Australia.
Right.
So, and everyone was like, no, it's not even possible. So I pulled my phone out, passed over my pint, and literally on Google Maps, zoomed out and traced a line with my finger yeah, we're doing it. That's it. And honestly, that was it.
Couple of questions. Had you got an HGV license at this point, or were you thinking of doing a 4-tonner? Or what were you think? Let's do the logistics first, Bobby, before we get into the romantic, and there I was across the rolling steep of Mongolia. So had you got an HGV license?
Well, just to confirm, there was no planning. There was no real plan. I just winged it. So no, I didn't have my HGV license. I didn't.
Right.
I'd never driven a HGV before. So, and I didn't even have a vehicle at this point, but I fell across this truck and I literally agreed to buy this truck and then had to go and do my HGV license quickly, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then came and picked it up. And the first time I ever drove a truck was driving this truck back from the like the broker.
Air brakes.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey! Here we go. Those are always good fun the first time, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was really light, and because it's a 4-wheel drive truck with massive wheels, I felt like I was like a proper monster truck bouncing down everywhere. Oh my God!
What sort of truck was it? Because I'm a petrol head. Come on, what sort of truck was it?
So it was a 4-wheel drive MAN 18-ton truck, a 280 brake horsepower, and overall height is about, well, once it got converted, about just under 4 meters. We're 7.5 meters long.
Yeah.
We weigh about 11 ton. So, but bearing in mind that doesn't stop us. We take this to places that like Land Rover Defenders, try and hill climb or whatever.
And presumably, you put your living accommodation. You pimped it out. You had the jacuzzi, the sat nav, the widescreen TV.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. The plan was to drive to Australia. I didn't know how long it was going to take me, so I knew I had to future-proof it. So, and because I was a builder, I built like a little apartment inside, and it was coined like the bougie apartment on wheels. Not because it was particularly fancy, just I just knew like LED lighting looked good, and this looked good, and the bed looked good.
Yeah, really?
And we put a full-size shower in, like a full-size domestic shower. We have aircon. It's really plush inside.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. So, do you have a big send off? Do your mates sit there and go, okay, there goes Bob off to Oz? I mean, how do you, how are you going to fund it? I mean, because you said you haven't got a lot of money. I mean, did you have a GoFundMe? Did you think, I'll get, I don't know, I'll do something on the way like you do?
Yeah, but basically the plan was, the plan had all fallen apart. So right. The day I was leaving, like the time I was leaving, I had 600 quid left on my name. And there's no that's totally honestly, it was 600 quid. And I can remember ringing my dad and being like, Dad, it's over. I can't do this. This is stupid. And he's like, look, this is changing your life, this truck. You're leaving your old life behind. Just go. You'll sort it out. Take your building tools with you. You might only make it to northern France and you start building, or you might get a bit further, pick up a bar job. You might do a bit of delivery drive. Just go and have the adventure of a lifetime.
Your parents are ace, by the way. Your parents are absolutely ace. They can say, "No, come back and we'll get you that job." I've got a bit of grouting that he's doing, but that's just brilliant.
They got a great can-do attitude, especially my dad, and just forced me just go, you'll sort it out. And I can remember them basically kicking me over the channel. He met me there. He literally, so he filled my tanks with brim the tanks, a couple of spare jerry cans. My mum had just met me at a supermarket, filled me with the food, and sandwiches. They were both like, go on, this is your life's changing here. Just go, sort it out, Yeah,
so. My dad does that with me. He just get me to go, but there you go. Now. So, first of all, it must have been fun on the ferry because, you're heading over and there's all people going on there, going to Normandy on their Brittany, and they're all there in their, I don't know, their Volvos or their little Audis and stuff. And you're there with this 4-meter high monster.
Literally, you're not. We went on the tunnel and it just attracted people walking past. And we only just fit in the tunnel. It was both wheels were squeaking down the side. We were maxed out. And there was people off to Northern France. They came what is this? We've never seen anything like this before. Yeah. And then I really remember the remark of one of the guys that was, you've got fire in your eyes. You look so alive and wild. You're just going to have the time of your life, and we quite literally did, yeah. Now,
if this was a Hollywood movie, Bobby, if I was writing this as a script, right? There's you in your thing, a young man looking for adventure, the wind in his hair. I mean, just got none myself. and then if I was doing a script, you'd be somewhere like the south of France, and there'd be a beautiful woman who crosses your path. But that thing never happens because life isn't a Hollywood movie, is it, Bobby?
It sounds a bit cliche, but yeah, it did. There's this crazy moment. It literally, people think it's a conspiracy theory that we met by chance, but basically 6 days into the trip, after I'd just had a bit of a rest because leaving was the hardest thing. It was so busy. I went to the mountains on the south coast of France, parked the truck in the middle of the mountains, and for the first time, I walked to this beautiful outcrop over the Bay of Saint-Tropez for sunrise. It was this really poetic moment. I was envisaging what was to come. I was so excited. And
Don't tell me you were manifesting, mate.
I don't know what I was doing, but something happened and worked because, out of the bushes popped a beautiful Swiss Shepherd dog and followed by a beautiful woman. And it didn't start too well, I'll be honest, because she was a bit snappy because she'd come up there for a bit of peace and quiet. I'd been up there for a bit of peace and quiet. And we both said, hello, you're right. Yeah. Do you speak English? And she was like, oh, another tourist. I've come up here for a bit of peace and quiet. But luckily, she ran past the truck on the way back and had handwritten the Instagram tag. So she took a picture, ran off, and a few hours later, sent me a message. And one thing led to another. We went on a beach walk with the dogs the next day, ended up having a barbecue that night. 2 weeks later, we met for like a weekend of adventure together where we paddleboarded and hiked and stuff. And then 2 weeks after that, she met me on her third date with 3 bags, her dog, and jumped in the truck with a stranger and quite literally drove off into the sunset. So
that doesn't happen. That never happens to me in me van. It never happens to me in me van. Get a truck.
I asked her last week. I said, would you like join me if it was a truck or a Land Rover Defender or something? And she's like, no way. I was like, what?
Yeah,
come on.
There you go. You get that truck. So, but I mean, I'm not going to pour at cold water. But I mean, what were you doing in the south of France? Because you're supposed to be going to Australia, mate. So, I mean, and you were taking the route scenique, were you?
Oh, the whole thing's a scenic route. Yeah, we didn't need to go up to northern Kazakhstan and around and down, and we did. And the idea of going to Australia was just give me an endpoint.
Yeah,
and how we got there, when we got there. It didn't really matter. We were just going on this wild adventure, and we didn't have a route, no visas, no nothing sorted. We were just going with the wind. It was amazing.
Yeah, talking about going to Albania. Now, listen, everything's strapped to the sides. I mean, it's an interesting. I mean, listen, it's going to be the next big thing, isn't it? Because nobody's touched Albania for literally decades, right? Everything's built on top of a hill because they used to attack each other, all the time, and so there. But it must be a very interesting. You have to dig yourself out, and you have to. I mean, Albania must have been a complete. And as for the police force, it must have been hysterical.
Yeah, it was good, but we loved Albania because I think we were going to spend something like 4 or 5 days there, and ended up spending like 23 days there or something. We loved it because for overlanding in a big truck, we could go right up to like the mountains of Tef and all around the big beautiful places there, and then we went down to the beach and the wild coastline there that, like you're saying, hasn't been developed yet. And in terms of like, it's a bit scary, and it's not even foreplay compared to like going through Afghanistan and Pakistan and those places. We were worried about Romania and Albania at the start, thinking, this is a bit dodgy, and we were a little bit like anxious. But looking back now,
having said that, you only just made it through Italy, didn't you? Because there was a rock slide or the road gave way.
Oh god, yeah, the track gave way, and literally the mountain track gave way, and the rear right tire was floating because the bank collapsed and was floating in the air, and oh God, that was an awful. I worked through the night. So it happened about 6 o'clock. And I think I got out at about 2 or 3 a.m. Just myself with a bottle jack, quite literally.
Yeah.
A couple of like ratchet straps and like a hand winch. And for hours, I was just like lifting it, putting a block, lifting it, putting a block, pulling it over, strapping it, pulling it forward. And I built this like bridge with cut down trees. And oh God, I've got PTSD still from it. Oh God. I won't be going there again.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing, I mean, I want to get to the all action story at the end, all right, which is the one with the 200-foot ice pack in hand. But what about the actual? What do the customs officials do when you rock? I mean, I suppose if you go through France, they're like, bon chance and good luck and all that sort of stuff. But when you go sort of further east and you start going into these perhaps more, should we say, more authoritarian places? If you rock up to a border in Turkey or heaven forfend, Afghanistan, for goodness sake, they're going to look at you and go, "What? Are you a spy? Is that military? What you got in there? What haven't you got in there? Take it all apart." I mean, Bobby.
Yeah, no, you're right. The thing is, it looks like a military vehicle, and everyone's in the army. Thankfully, it's painted blue and not like army green. And honestly, we just have to deploy the big, stupid tourist smile. Like the big, like, "Hello, oh, we can't wait to be here in Turkey," and like really diffuse everyone. But honestly, we get approached like we're spies for the first 10 seconds, and then it's big smiles. It's like, "Oh, hey," and a lot of the time, they're all like probably male guards, a lot of them, and suddenly the whole "this is aggressive" turns into, "Wow, what is it? Oh, this is so cool. Can I have a look in the back?" Yeah. We had like half the Taliban army in the back at one point, where they're all jumping in like, "What's it? We never seen this before," sort of thing. So yeah, it's crazy.
Must have been fun as well going through those. Like, if you go through sort of those villages in the middle of nowhere, and and they haven't seen, they've never seen a truck like that before. I was going to say something else then, but you know, you are very much a stranger. Kids everywhere, chickens running across the path, upsetting orange carts. I mean, you know, it must have been quite something.
Yeah. A lot of the time, you know, sometimes we will receive really well, because in a truck like that, we're autonomous. We can stay off grid for like 4 weeks at a time. So we get to places that other people just can't, and they've never seen tourists before there. And we're the first like English people and French people to meet. So it's great. But then, a couple other times there's like, what are you doing here? In Asia, there was low hanging cables everywhere. So we'd be like pulling cables down and oh God. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of the trip was this amazing and awful like moments as well. We had a bit of both. So. You got
boffed by Borat's cousin, did you, in Kazakhstan? You got
there was a lot of that. Yeah, there was. Yeah, we've met amazing people who had absolutely nothing and couldn't give us enough, really. You know, they would give us honestly the last grain of rice to host us. We got hosted by guys that were living in yurts in the middle of Kyrgyzstan, and they couldn't give us more. Honestly, it was beautiful. But then on the other side, like, we dealt with corrupt Russian policemen when we were going for Russia and stuff like this, you know. So you get this like real amazing mix of experiences, which is just fantastic.
So how far did you get to Oz then, or how far did you go? I mean, you know, how did you make it all the way, or do you think, you know, we've done enough now? What was how far did you get, Bobby?
So, well, spoiler alert, we didn't make it to Australia, but for good reasons. Like, it's all positive. Yeah. Basically, we got all the way down to the bottom of Thailand.
Wow.
And Thailand is where we were going to ship the truck from to Australia.
Yeah.
And quite literally 3 days before we were going to ship it, we decided, like, we're not ready to finish. Like, the plan was Australia's the finish line. This was this, you know, we're going to go there, we're going to drive, and then that'll be it. And we come back to normal life. But we've kind of got the bit between us now. I guess we're a little bit addicted to the traveling because it's amazing. So we decided to ship the truck to South Africa, and we've just driven the length of Africa back home, and we arrived about 5 days ago. So
East Coast or West Coast did you do it? Which way did you do it?
The West Coast. So we did 14 countries.
Namibia.
Countries
You did Namibia.
Namibia was amazing. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And what was funny at the start was we had dog drama. Trying to get the dogs down and fly them in is the hardest bit. Over borders, land borders, it's fine. So at one point, we were in South Africa with my dad, and I had to fly back to meet Marie back in Europe to get a dad. And my dad drove it all the way through South Africa up to Namibia. On the last minute, like, I gave him 30 minutes notice because we were all this drama. And I said, Dad, there's a flight leaving. I've got to go. Like, he's like, are you all right to drive? And he's like, well, I don't really have an option then, do I? I was like, no, not really. He's like, yeah, go on then. So he loved it. He loved it. Yeah, he's a truck driver. So
right,
the opportunity for him to do that, he loved it. And then wouldn't leave. When we met up in Namibia, he hired like a little 4-wheel drive pickup
to follow you, like a support vehicle.
And a week with us, amazing.
So you came at West Coast, Sub-Sahara Africa. So you did Sahara? You did the desert trip, or?
Yeah. So we sort of came to the West Coast. We came through like the jungles of the Congo and the DRC. Went through like the corruption hotspot of Nigeria and Cameroon, and then we sort of bent left towards like the bottom of the Dakar Rally kind of stages.
Senegal, all that.
Yeah, and then came up through the Sahara, which was great, but we had a headwind for about 3 or 4 days, and it dropped our MPG to like 4 or 5 MPG because for like 6 hours a day, we were just battling this it was basically a sandstorm for a few days. Oh God, mental, amazing experience.
One of my favourite parts of the world. I've done it quite a few times, Sahara, because we're next to Gibraltar, so it's just across the strait. You see.
Yes, of course. Yeah, beautiful place. Because what's good about Morocco is you got quite a bit of Europeanness at the top. It's you know, you can get some nice food, and then you can just go south, and it just gets wilder and wilder and wilder and wilder. It's beautiful. It's so cool.
How did the truck? I mean, how did the truck bear up to all these extremes? You know, from temperate, from jungles of Thailand, from jungles sub-Saharan, through dust storms, you know, through mountain passes. I mean, how did the truck hold up, and B, how did Marie hold up as well?
Well, Marie is tough stuff, let me tell you. Like, you know, to meet a woman on the top.
Bob, it's a family show. It's only coming up to 5 to 11 here, so keep it clean.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but she's really tough stuff. I couldn't have met anybody on the top of that mountain, but she is proper badass. You know, she'd been like backpacking in South America. She became this bit of a cowgirl living like in the wild. So I never knew this when I met her. And, you know, finally it came out and yeah, it worked really well. So Marie is top stuff. And there's been a couple of times we got stuck and I've been all defeated, like, oh, no, I can't. Yeah. And she's like, come on then, let's get the shovels out. Let's get digging. Come on, this is good fun, you know. So she's good. But the truck, honestly, I can't believe it, has not broken down once.
Wow.
In 2 years on some of the hardest like roads in the world. In fact, they're not even roads. In some of the countries you go through, they're not roads. And 42,000 miles we've done and it's not missed a beat. I mean, we froze the fuel 3 times. Like we got down to minus 15 around the base camp Everest in the Chinese side. And we had to light a fire beneath the fuel tank to get us going again.
You took a truck to base camp Everest?
Yeah, it was like you can't get you can't park next to the tents.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get within like striking distance. Yeah, so
wow.
Yeah, really cool experience, amazing.
And so, tell us about this kind of sliding down because it says in the press notes, snow-covered ridge, ice axe in hand to rescue his girlfriend. If that's not Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger, I don't know what is, Bobby. So what happened there then? Why did you rescue your girlfriend? But tell me a little bit about that story then.
I guess it was a bit of a testing start to the relationship because during this phase, like Marie had a big black eye because we were flying the drone we had, and the drone had flown into her face. Now, not particularly at this moment, but like she was a little bit beaten up still from that event. Yeah. And then we went hiking in. It was actually the Trans-Făgăraș Highway in Romania, which is the best driving road in the world, said Clarkson. And we went to drive it, and it was full of snow. So. Like we do like winter climbing with all the kits. So we took some ropes and ice axes and ice crampons. And we went up this beautiful mountain. It was amazing. And I sort of said like, come on, let's have a bit of a shortcut on the way down. There's quite a steep, long bit. As you do as a testosterone fueled, 30-year-old guy. Yeah. I was like, let's do this, but also let's practice like self-arrest. So if you do fall, what you have to do, watch me, slide down, dig your ice axe in, roll on your belly, really get it in, and like let's practice. So I did a 10-meter thing, she did a 2-meter, 10-meter. Yeah, it's all working well. Okay, right now do that, keep trying. And basically she just lost control, and it was not 10 meters, it was not 20 meters, it was like 200 meters down this huge open valley bowl thing. And at one point, like she just went over this like bit of a ridge or something, you can't see because it's snow, it's just all white. And she just disappeared off it, and the dogs went charging down after her. Oh no. I had no idea what was coming. I was shouting like, slow down, and she just out of control and just was like tumbling. And I then had to slide down this mountain as quick as I could with my ice axes in hand, like screaming, are you alive? Are you alive? And came like over this what it was like a little ridge. And she just come to stop at the top of like a boulder field. Uh-huh. And honestly, she was like meters away, and she didn't have a helmet on because we were just like on our way down. We'd done the hardest bit. We'd done the most dangerous bit. This was just meant to be a bit of fun in this relatively. And she was just, holding her knee and crying. And but again, tough stuff. I said, you're right. Should I lift you? Should we go and get help? Are you okay? And she just said, just in 1 minute, and then hobbled away out for 2 hours.
Top chick. So listen, you're back in Wigan now. What's next up then, Bobby?
We're not ready to finish yet. So we've actually got hold of an 8-wheel drive like truck. So as opposed to 4x4 truck, this is 8x8. And this thing, if you thought the old one was a monster, this thing is absolute monster like guzzler with fuel. Yeah. The plan is we're here now to go again. Basically, this is going to be our kind of Arctic and Sahara vehicle. So it's going to be our sand and snow vehicle. We plan to go to Siberia, so we're going to be about minus 50. And then we're going to go down to Saudi Arabia, which is going to be about plus 50. So we're trying to design it so it deals with 100 degrees worth of temperature distance. Yeah.
The book is called Truck It. You can order it via our own virtual bookstore. There's a picture of Bobby and the dog and the truck on the front cover. Click on it, and a well-known distribution agency will be winging it to you. Bobby, if people want to follow you and follow your adventures, where's the best place to find you?
On Instagram, it's One Life Truck It. One Life Truck It.
Is that one letter, one number?
Yeah, it's O-N-E.
O-N-E. One Life Truck It.
Life Truck It, yeah. And you'll see all the palaver on there because it's not scripted, it's not planned, it's not polished, it's just us having a ball.
The book is called Truck It. Bobby, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today.
Cheers, Jazz.